Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the game. It is on Metropolis in the 3 o'clock position. The red player, the 11-time consecutive champion of Fight Club. Ladies and gentlemen, it is TSL HyuN. His opponent spawning in the 9 o'clock position, cross positions, going to be facing off against him. Currently up 4-3. We have not seen anything of these likes here against HyuN. Ladies and gentlemen, from the team Startail, it is Life.
And he's 10 pooling. I figured, you know, well, we could only have one normal game, and we're going to go right back to it. Life trying to end this in style right now. See if HyuN decides to go back to a hatch-first strategy, or if he's just going to opt for that one base, but later pool for a little while, just to make sure he holds off any sort of early aggression.
It's on the line, man. It is on the line for HyuN right now. If he goes for a 15 hatch, he's going to be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
I'm waiting. 200. Here we go. Nope. Spawning pool. Good. All right. So game won't end too quickly, most likely.
No, it should be fine.
Yep.
He's going to have Zerglings up just in time to be able to deal with this. Probably going to go for that 15 or 16 hatch here in just a second as well. Back on Life side of things, though, it's weird because whenever you're watching a ZVZ and you tune into the game, or the game just starts, the screen swaps back over, and you look at the very beginning, you know that more than likely they're going to put up that Overlord at 9, or they're going to do the extractor trick. But there's still a little bit of your heart that kind of skips a beat whenever it's like up to 110 resources and they haven't built an Overlord yet. You're like, oh, it may be underly. No, it's
you
just going to be.
You just experienced that, didn't you?
Yes.
You were watching them, and yeah, you were.
Yeah.
Because you were quick. The second I was like, Life, and he's 10 pulling.
It's true, though.
It's almost like it was all one sentence that you continued for me, Kevin.
Life is 10 pooling. He's done this 3 times now. HyuN's done it once. So 8 games. We've actually had 7 early pools. Here it comes, though. Life going to try and put on some pressure. And HyuN actually already has 6 Zerglings coming up. He has seen these units as they've moved across the map, so nothing's really hidden from him. And he should actually have the mountain time to be able to save this hatchery.
Yes, 6lings. You know, earlier it was, if you remember the match where he actually lost the hatchery, even though he had a 15 pool, it was 8lings versus 4.
Yeah.
In this situation, it's 8lings versus 6. Sorry, I put the emphasis on the wrong syllable there.
No problem.
So he should be all right here.
Indeed.
I mean, he can definitely, and this time he's bringing drones because he remembers that game. Oh, I lost my hatchery on that series where I went for this this 15 pool.
So now that they're all 10lings out, he should be able to hold this off without too much of a problem. Life going up to his Zergling speed again. Doesn't look like it's going to be the one base all-in variant. He's actually pulling totally off of gas, though. And there is a potential he could make a very strong round of speedlings and try and send him out once again. We actually saw a, let's see here. No, I guess the Zergling Baneling all-in that he did was off of just one base as well. So this would be a little bit different if he decided to just power off of rounds of lings.
HyuN now going to be chasing these Zerglings away. Life does have speed started, something definitely noteworthy. Whereas HyuN just starting his gas, actually. He does have the expansion, of course, whereas Life's just finished up. So, I mean, at this point, Life is, you know, he's got to make a couple of Zerglings. We see them popping out now. But here's the thing. He's not going to really mind making these Zerglings at all. In fact, wow. He has like 16 of them in his base.
Yeah.
That's... I mean, he's actually just going for a massive speedling all in.
Yes, he is. Another big speedling. At the very least, it's going to be a speedling push. We'll see if he drones up after this, though, because he's not done this yet off of 2 bases. And he loves his all-ins, and we'll see what he can do. This
is actually the match that I was talking about before. It was FXO Whale versus Life
sure.
on Kidar. And he lost to this build. This is almost identical to what happened. So we'll see if he can make it happen here versus HyuN, guys. If Life can close it out right now, he's going to take down 11-time champion HyuN. Lings coming in with speed, getting a nice engagement. Spinecrawler just finishing up a beautiful surround with those Lings on that, but simultaneously HyuN killing off so many of these Zerglings. Drones coming into effect. The Queen's effectively walling off right now. A lot of reinforcement Lings are here for HyuN, and it looks like HyuN is going to hold at least for the moment, and the moment is saying a lot here.
Yes, and looks like the queen is finally going to fall here momentarily. Yes, it does, but there are still so many more lings that are coming up for HyuN. He's not really going to take a lot of economic damage behind this, and he is actually still up by 4 workers, even after all of that. Now 3 workers, but still holding this off decently well. He's got another couple of queens coming up, or at least just one for the time being. Still another huge round of lings coming up for life, and he's going to try and continue putting on pressure, but this has already been pretty well held off by HyuN.
Yeah, life really needs to very quickly transition into some sort of defensive play here, because he's got a massive counterattack getting ready to knock on his door in about 15 seconds when speed does finish up, and he's crossed the map. HyuN now about to have speed. Oh, that bar looks so full for so long, and there goes speed, going to clean up the last remaining units in his base, and it's time to move out, but not before he goes and deals with these lings that he somehow realized during all that, saw them cross over to the left-hand side. He's looking for him now.
I think he saw this, and they actually ran over the top, so we knew that they were going to be around. Looks like he will lose a drone or 2 here. Loses 1, but at the same time, he's got that massive speedling push coming out, and his baneling nest is about halfway done, so we could actually put on some pressure that way, too.
This is pretty nice timing, actually, out of life, getting these lings out at the very last moment, able to squeeze out as much economy as possible, and still manage to rally an appropriate amount of defense. So a beautiful hold there from life, not going to be picked apart by that counterattack from HyuN. HyuN up 10 supply right now, but crossing the board is just proving too much for him. He can't crack it with that factor added in.
He's up 10 supply. He's actually going to a very quick layer tech now, as second gas is just about to pop down, and he morphs in 1 defensive baneling. But as we can see, I mean, he's up by 9 workers, he's up by 4 lings, and he's up a queen. So in all respects, he does have an advantage, and that's just going to kind of pay dividends as he moves along. As long as he doesn't throw away a lot of units, open himself up to a big counterattack, he's actually going to be in a pretty good spot.
HyuN almost catching those Zerglings. We did see them streaming forward a little bit single file style, and that's a great way to engage against lings when you have a nice big fat clump against a line. But as it stands, lings are just standing on each opposite side of the map. If life goes for the engagement here, he could get a lot of damage done. HyuN's Zerglings just sitting at the ramp, but not able to get around these front few banelings. You know, he could try to pick them off a few at a time, but with the spine crawler, it's pretty difficult to do, Kevin.
Yes, it is. And now, though, he sees a little bit of bad news. There is a Roach Warren that's coming up for HyuN at the moment, but he just finished layer tech. And with Roach speed already on the way, he'll be able to transition to those very quickly. Life, of course, just now putting up his layer, but he caught a glimpse of when it was coming up for HyuN. He knew how far it was along, and he knew the approximate time that he's going to have to deal with some pressure.
Lings moving back out once again. This is a very mobile state of the game right now, with the units jumping absolutely all over the place. Life at this point has opted to, HyuN has opted to really just shell up and play some defense. Baneling's trying to slip through. Nice control out of life. That's something that we've been seeing throughout the entire series. He's so good at just, I'll take 1 Zergling and sacrifice it into your Banelings, and HyuN has really been letting those Banelings go to waste. So beautiful plays there out of life, taking advantage of that. But as it stands right now, life going to go quickly check for a third and see if there's nothing there. He's actually going to leave a ling, but I mean, that's just going to get picked up pretty easily, as he did have the Overlord in position.
And I'll see what HyuN's approach is going to be. His infestation pit's a little bit faster than his opponent's, but the fact of the matter is he could actually drop down a little bit earlier third base than he has in pretty much any time during this series. Life actually is moving away just under the brunt of the lings. HyuN doing some pretty significant damage there. And because he's going to have pathogen glands up faster, he's actually going to have a moment where he could move in with some roaches and do some damage before his opponent's own infestation pit came up. But HyuN not worried about that for now. He actually does have a couple of banelings ready and is actually zoning out those units where he may be able to trap those. Doesn't quite get the engagement that he wants, though. Oh, there it is. And most of the lings for life are dead.
Yeah, really nice play there out of HyuN. That was beautiful positioning overall. Now it looks like, life morphing in some additional banelings, but here's the very interesting thing. Coming out of Startail Life, he's actually opting for +1/+1 melee carapace, which is very reliant on defensive play until you make it to ultras. And as long as you can keep your opponent's infestor count low enough, Ultra Infestor Ling is just so powerful against a Roach Infestor style of play. It decimates any army your opponent can muster, as long as they can't block you with Infested Terranax.
Okay, well, the banelings splashing against the front of the roaches, but of course they're not terribly effective against them. The banelings actually are just going to roll through, and HyuN's going to use that to power his way through the spine crawlers. A few lings coming around from the back there, and Life is able to effectively surround the first line of roaches, but the second line, the reinforcements are coming out, and HyuN, with a 40 supply advantage, looks like he's just going to power his way through these spine crawlers and maybe just the entire army of life.
Yeah, it is 100 supply right now to just 65. HyuN looking like he could possibly tie it up. Drone's getting a full surround. Spine crawler's still poking away, doing a fair amount of damage. But we saw Life actually begin to pull back and then realize, I can't do that actually. There's still a lot of roaches here. Nice fungal growth gonna trap these units. A second infestor does arrive, and with it will spell the death of the last few units here for HyuN. But supply-wise, we are at 87 to 63. HyuN with a third with saturated main and natural expansion, whereas Life lost quite a few drones there.
And HyuN, I think he's making the right decision here. He coaxed out most of the energy on these infestors, so even if he just baits out one more fungal growth, and he does, looks like one more infestor just joined the party, but that's actually the last fungal growth at Startail Life's disposal. The rest of this is purely going to have to be just units, and I don't know if he has enough to do that.
HyuN trying to make the most happen with this small group of roaches. Look at the hit points on these 4, so many in the red and orange. But yeah, very few units holding down the fort right now for Life. HyuN gonna capitalize on that fact, push in with a couple, and baits out some infested Terrans. I like it, falls back.
Yeah, and as we can see, he just finishes up his third base, so now he's going to be able to push ahead to higher tech. You know, he could decide to gun it for Hive, or he could just hit the kill switch like he likes to do on so many occasions. With 6 infestors here and virtually no energy, there's not much stopping power, and these roaches are going to roll right through the front, and it's going to come down to this. I mean, Life really needs a big defense right now.
Yeah, he absolutely does. And remember, he does not have roaches at his disposal. He's entirely dependent right now on Ling Infestor. Now, Banelings aren't going to be an adequate solution because they're so easy to pick off with fungal growths, but I mean, at this stage, HyuN has really just got to complete and utter contain on Life. And, you know, he's got his third. He's saturating his third. If Life tries to go and take his third, just the dance of death with these roaches because there are no spine crawlers really on the field for Life.
Man, HyuN is up by 26 workers. He's got the massive army advantage. He's even got his own infestors back at home. He hasn't even brought those to the front yet. And with the macro hatch, with the third base, his production looks great, his army looks great, his tech looks great. It's really an uphill battle. I mean, the onus is on Life to try and get something done. He is reaccumulating energy on all these infestors and now has several fungal growths at his disposal, though.
Yeah, the fungals are going to be coming back, and that's going to be really nice for Life. It's once he's got this next round of fungals, it kind of secures the fact that, okay, I'm not going to die for the moment, because the roaches are seriously going to have to clump up. HyuN could, like, try to stretch them into a crazy long line and string. Oh my God, so many lings.
Fungals, that's an assassin infestor with 18 kills to his credit. Who was the other big one there? No, it looks like both the fungals coming from him, so wow, well done. And HyuN now is forced into engaging a few of these forces here up at the front as fungal growths are pinning down those units. But again, a lot of the energy is being coaxed out of these infestors. That is going to potentially free up Life to move into a third base. But look at this. HyuN's got 4.
Yeah.
And he's got 60 supply more than his opponent.
And money.
Yeah.
And Life's... The thing is, when you go for the melee upgrades and you opt for this Ling Infestor, what ultimately turns into Ultra playstyle, the Ultras are really what does it for you. You get the Ultras and then you can win the game. If Life makes Hive, when he does, he's not going to have any money. And really that translates to no Ultras, which translates to no real strength in your army. Mass Ling can just die to Fungal, it can die to Baneling. There's so many answers to it.
All right, so HyuN healing up whatever lost hit points were on these roaches. Of course, they do. When they burrow, they gain health much, much faster than if they were above ground. And let's see here. What's the army composition look like for our players? 24 roaches and 12 infestors. So just 15 infestors and 27 lings. Now we do have our first 10 hydras hitting the map, too.
Both players is kind of in a standoff right now. HyuN goes, all right, look, if I attack you right now, I could lose. And I just feel so ahead at this moment, up by 80 supply. Why wait? Why not wait until I'm maxed out? And, you know, that's pretty much going to be his response. He's at 186. His next round of Larva Injects will take him to maxed out. So we see him moving out across the map. Life looking like he wants to go for a little bit of a counterattack, which he's just so good at.
One thing that's really weird, though, to me, we have 0 upgrades from HyuN at all. He's just no carapace, no weapons upgrades, and he has such a crushing advantage that I don't think it's going to come back to bite him. But that's still nice burrow from the Queen there. But I'm still wondering a little bit, I guess, why he hasn't invested in those at any point in this game.
That is really, really interesting. I mean, looking from HyuN's perspective, a compelling reason is just that, oh, timing. I'm just going to kill you with a really big timing. But, you know, it would be really cool to try to figure out in which games he does it. And there you could kind of try to figure out exactly why. But as of now, moving on across the map is HyuN. Getting ready to possibly close this up. 180 supply to 120. Life is going to need one epic defense here to hold this push off.
Yeah. And looks like he starts by throwing out a couple of infested Terrans to soak the initial shots. He does have 21 infestors, I believe. No, 19 looks like they're at the front. Okay, so 19 infestors. That's a whole lot of energy that he can use, and that's at his disposal. HyuN, though, already getting down his infested Terrans much faster than his opponent. He's going to try and pick off a couple of those infestors right away while he swings around from the back. And Life, yeah, really doesn't have a whole lot here, and even with any sort of an upgrade disparity, it looks like it's going to be too much. There's the GG. Life has gone down. We're going to game number 9. HyuN ties things up.
4-4. Who would have? Yeah, people were guessing 5-4.
Yeah.
People were guessing 5-4. They were mostly in Life's favor, notably.
Yes, Life was hugely favored in the live report thread going into this. I think when I initially saw it, it was something like 71% to 29% in favor of Life. And he still certainly could do it here, but all right, it all comes down to this. We're at game 9 of a best of 9. We're going to run to a commercial break, and when we come back, it's going to be our final map of the night. Who is going to win? Will HyuN win his 12th victory? Will he get himself a massive $6,300 payout in total? Will Life win $1,600 today? Stick with us and find out on the other side of this break.